All right, we are feeding out to the folks out there. Shout out to everyone out there. You are watching and listening to the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. Welcome back to the show. If this is the first time that you guys are watching this show, welcome. This is. I'm not gonna. I don't. I honestly, I'm gonna be honest here. I don't have anything ridiculous prepared for today, like ridiculous accolades. If someone has a ridiculous accolade for us out there, I will read it. We'll see if anyone has it. But what I am going to do is ask you guys to go to hankstrange.com, sign up for our email list, look around the site. Lola is always sharing deals on there, so we have a deals page that you guys can find on there. And also, if you're looking for the alternative platforms that we're on, you can find all of that under the Strangerholics tab. That's the place to go to. Make sure you all smash the thumbs ups and ring the bell. And I think we're going to get into it here right now. Let's see. I'm going to load my guest in and myself, and I'm going to smash the open.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation.
All right, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the thumbs ups, ring the bell so you can be notified when we go live. And we are live. We've got Marcus Torgerson, Krav Maga instructor, joining us. I don't think he knows about this, but we do this thing called jazz hands here. Even the tough guys have to do it. We're taking it back. We're taking it back from the terrorists, Marcus.
There we go. Bring it.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on out there. It's going to be a fun show. This is episode 761. We're going to talk Krav Maga with Marcus Torgerson. Am I saying it right, Marcus, first of all?
You know what? It's a long ass name. Just go with Marcus. I have hard times pronouncing it.
How do you pronounce it?
Torgerson. Yeah,
Torgerson. What is that? Scandinavian, Swedish?
Yeah, Norwegian,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Lola was saying Torgerson, so my mind was. I was like, "Where's Lola getting Torgerson from?" You know.
So. I've learned a long time ago. If a woman wants to call me a name, I just say yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
you know?
He's just happy with it.
Go ahead.
Just go with it. Yeah, so we've got Marcus on. We also should be having Dave from Down the Barrel LLC on here at some point. We're waiting for him to join us. If anyone knows where Dave is, let him know that he's right now supposed to be on the show, and we're waiting for him. We'll see how that works out. Dave, if you're out there and you're trying to text Lola, I'm using her phone to broadcast this show, so forget about that. No, it's not going to work. You could text me if you have I actually just texted you, so if you have my info, but I sent you an email, you should just be able to click through the link in there and come into the show. Big shout out to Harry's Holsters. You guys can see down there, Harry's Holsters. They sponsor the show. We can't show guns while we're live here. That's one of the crazy restrictions that we have from YouTube, but let me see if I can run this in. Here's my carry holster right here, and that is from Harry's Holsters there, and that's my Glock 43. Let me see. There's the opposite side of it. That's on my hips right now, but I took this picture before we did the show, so that's what I carry. If you use the code, I believe it's Hank Strange, you get 10% off at Harry's Holsters. He's got lots of different options there. If you guys are interested, just go to harrysholsters.com. They make great Kydex holsters. All right, that being said, Marcus, welcome to the show, man.
Well, thanks for having me on. I deeply appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on here. So first of all, I think we should ask everyone out there, just smash the thumbs ups for Krav Maga, right? But yeah. There's a couple things. One, I don't know. You said you did podcasts before, right? You done podcasts like this? Okay. Have you ever done Joe Rogan?
No.
Yeah, no. Because it seems to me like I would see you on Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not on that radar.
Not yet. This might be. You never know. Joe Rogan. I think if I'm going to come up with a ridiculous thing, I would say the ridiculous thing is if Joe Rogan is tripping and we go into his dreams, this is probably his number one freedom podcast right here for people talking about guns. The Who Moved My Freedom podcast. That's our ridiculous thing. But I apologize for not being a martial artist like yourself The only thing I know about Krav Maga, man, is when I see in the movies all the real badasses know Krav Maga. Tell us about yourself and how you got into this. Like, where do you come from? All that kind of stuff.
I'm originally from Canada, Vancouver, BC, Canada, and I've been doing martial arts now 42 years. And I've been doing Krav Maga since 2005, so it's like 15, 16 years. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm a guy who likes to educate and empower myself, and then I do that with others. That's it. That's me in a nutshell.
All right, very cool. Lola says she wants you to move over a little bit so you can center yourself a little bit more. The other way. There you go.
There we go. How's that?
Right, awesome. I noticed you got. Right. I noticed you got like some Batman stuff.
Yeah, but well, you know, everybody's got to have a superhero that they enjoy, and I'm a Batman fanatic.
Yes. So let's see here. So let me get this. So you're Canadian.
I am.
Oh, okay. When did you leave Canada to come to the States?
I'm on my 7th year now. Seventh year. Looking forward to
that's
naturalization.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not long, no.
No. So what did you do in Canada? Like, you know,
shit. Well, I had one of two jobs in Canada. I was either a personal trainer for fitness or work in nightclubs for security.
Okay. So because I think you said that you've been in Krav Maga for like 15 years, right? Yeah. So did you do some other kind of martial arts before you got into Krav Maga? Or?
Oh yeah, I've done a bunch of different systems. Started from Kung Fu when I was a little kid, you know, and then then got into a very traditional Okinawan system for a bunch of years, and then took a little bit of a break, a few years break, and then got into Krav Maga, and then got on a teaching team, and then I've been traveling for the last 9 years. My job is to go to different countries and certify people in Krav Maga to become instructors, seminars, workshops.
Yeah. How does that all work with Krav Maga? Like, are there belts?
Yeah.
How does that?
Well, like everything on the planet, there's divisions, right? There's different organizations and what have you. Some people use belts. My organization that I'm a part of, we have patches, and there's a ranking system like practitioner, then graduate, then expert, and at this current standing, I'm expert level 3, which is we have a total of 6 expert ranks. So, it's, I'm a little up there.
All right, that's it. Okay, so wait a second. So you're at expert level 3.
Yeah.
So where is that on the pyramid? Like, between you and Jason Bourne. Like, where's Jason Bourne? Is Jason Bourne Krav Maga? I'm trying to figure. Let's see. What movies have Krav Maga in it?
Well, Jason Bourne, what they did, the choreographers were really smart. They took like a mix mash of different systems and kind of threw it together. And Jason Bourne is the epitome of finding a common object and beating you with it.
Right.
That guy rolled up a newspaper and started slapping the shit out of people. So,
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a Matt Damon fan, but everyone's like Jason Bourne was in the first one at least was pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not a big Matt Damon fan. I mean, actually that's not true. I love his movies. I'm not a big fan of everything else, but the Jason Bourne series changed a lot of things, changed the platforms for people and how they viewed self-defense and what they could do. Same with John Wick. Same idea,
that's what I was
grabbing a pencil and shit.
So is John Wick? Is he also using mixed martial arts, or like how much of that is Krav Maga in John Wick? Let's say
not really any of it.
Oh, okay.
Most Krav Maga doesn't fit the movies very well. Ironically, the 2 places I've seen it, the Punisher TV series, and Sean fucking Penn in The Gunman. Ironically.
You know what? I never saw that movie. Was that good? Did you like that movie?
Well, I'm not a big.
Yeah, no one's a big Sean Penn fan, so you don't worry about it. Yeah, Sean Penn is cray cray.
Yeah. Yeah,
as
yeah,
are most people named Sean.
yeah. Well, good point. Or Liam.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
never name your kids Sean, by the way. That totally ruins them.
yeah.
Trust me, I know.
Is that right?
Yeah, oh
Oh,
yeah. I'm
okay.
not
We'll
gonna tell
keep
you
going
how I
off
know.
camera.
Yeah, I'm not
Uh,
gonna tell you how I know that, but yeah, I do know that.
well, I'll just take it as advice.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but that movie, The Gunman, it was a pretty good movie. I mean, but there was definitely some Krav Maga involved in it. But Krav Maga doesn't translate well to the screen. It really does. If you're doing really like real Krav Maga,
Okay.
it's way too fast, effective. It's not fancy.
It's not for movies and stuff like that.
No, no.
I was actually, oh man, what is it? Is it Alex Rider? There's a TV series, like a British TV series, because I look at a lot of things like that. I look at a lot of television while I'm editing, right? Editing's a terrible thing. This is why
Yeah.
I don't look as, as fit as you do, obviously. Because,
Hey,
I'm a
you've got
master.
the
I'm a.
camera from the neck up, okay?
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
Stand up right now.
Yeah, I'm a master of editing foo. But while I'm looking at that, I'm always trying to find different things to look at. And I'm not. It's a weird thing, right? It's kind of like a fireplace. I actually feel like I need something going in the background that's moving forward while I'm editing, because editing's slow. Like I'm so slow down, going back, trying to like looking at specific frames and seconds of stuff that it drives me crazy. I hate editing, and I've been
So
doing
you need
it.
some background to keep you sane.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 30 years. So
damn.
I think I'm a pretty good editor. Actually, if I toot my own horn,
There you
so
go.
to speak.
Adam.
Yeah, just a little pat on the
There
back,
you go, just a little bit.
Yeah, if I actually worked for a living editing instead of doing this gun thing on YouTube, I might have some real money. If I was working on the movies and stuff. But so I look at stuff, and I like British TV shows. I used to live in England, and I understand the language. It's the Queen's English.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
those Brits are good people, man. Any culture where there's involved in their vocabulary, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So I was looking at this thing called Alex Rider, which is about this kid. He's like in the England's equivalent of high school or whatever. I don't know, form whatever that is. I've forgotten that. But he's basically in what we would consider high school, and I guess his uncle that he's living with is a undercover agent, works with British intelligence, and I think his parents did also, and they died. So he kind of has this in his heritage. Oh, is this Dave? Is this Dave calling in? Hold on, let's see here. So he kind of has that in his heritage. Oh well, look who decided to join us. Yeah, look at that, Dave. Go vertical. Go vertical with the camera, Dave. Boom, there you go. All right. Sweet, Dave's joining us. Awesome. We got him set up. I was just in the middle of a brilliant story here. Let me see what is happening with my Okay. So anyway, so this kid is supposed to be like a secret agent. That's the whole thing. And in there, they're saying that he was trained in Krav Maga. Krav Maga. So, but we hear about it so much, and then I think, like you said, it's just one of those things that a lot of people. What's the history and the background of this? This comes from Israel, right? Or it's developed? Was it developed? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was developed in Israel. The inventor was a gentleman by the name of Amy Lechtenfield, and they when in '48, when Israel became a state, they knew they needed something for their military. And this gentleman was in charge of the hand-to-hand combat and fitness for the IDF, and it was it's been created through the blood of battle. They'll try something, and then they don't have like 2 weeks to get good at it. They got to be like good at it now, because in an hour, all of a sudden the war's happening.
Okay.
So its purpose was so that it would be easy to learn, easy to replicate, and able to do under the stress of war. That's the backbone of it. That's the soul of Krav Maga, and that's how it should be from here on out.
So was it, because how do you develop something that fast that didn't come from centuries like some other martial arts fighting skills. What was it based on itself?
Right. Well, so the inventor was a gymnast, a wrestler, and a boxer.
Okay.
So he just took a lot of that stuff. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
his dad was we don't really know the deal is. His dad was a detective. Like they're originally from Hungary,
Mm-hmm.
and he learned a bunch of stuff from when he was in the circus.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds like a weird story, but so I think there's they basically did what a lot of systems do. They just take a bunch of shit,
Mm-hmm.
find out what works, and then put it together and turn it into a system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
We've got Dave joining us. Dave, what's up? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Absolutely, sir. How's it going, man? Long time no see.
What's going, brother? What's going on, bro?
You look good, man. You
Yeah,
look good.
Dave.
I try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got that sexy going. I usually only see Dave in the. Dave's been on the show before. For anyone who wants to know more about Down the Barrel LLC, but he's always in the chat. So Lola's been trying to get Dave to come on for a while now, and he got like how people want all white M&Ms. Have to have. Dave's like, I'm not coming on without Marcus.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That's
So-
okay. The check's in the mail, Dave. Check's in the mail.
Right. Yeah. So, Dave, do you know Krav Maga?
No.
No. Okay. How did you
I
guys
know,
meet?
through Skill Set,
Oh, okay.
Skill Set magazine.
Mhm.
So we met through Skill Set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did you guys do, like a photo shoot or something, or?
No, I don't know how we met. How did we meet?
Hey, man, social media is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I stalked him or something.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Did
No.
you guys meet in person, like in the real world, or just over the internet?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Hopefully that'll change in a few months.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're working on that, bro.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how nowadays people, like, you meet people and you become really good friends with them, and you never actually met them in person?
That's the one positive thing of social media,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
If it's got one thing, that's it. You get
Yeah.
some good friendships.
Yeah, the other day I was talking to John Crump, that's on the show all the time. We do a lot of stuff together, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you going to the Iraq veteran thing? Because I'm gonna be there. I get to meet you in person." I was like, "What are you talking about? You've met me before." He's like, "Nope, I have never met you in the real world," and I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's more common now than it would ever have been 20 years ago, or
Yeah.
even 5-10 years ago.
yeah. Well, I mean, like when the internet started, it was only for internet dating. But like what I'm saying now, dudes are literally, or like you're marrying a wife. Your wife's from Russia or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, now dudes are actually meeting each other, becoming good friends, doing business.
Oh yeah. Lots.
Yeah, yep.
Doing business together, making money, and they never met each other. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to me. Can you hear me good?
yeah, we can hear you good. Yeah,
Cool. But no, I don't know Krav Maga. I know a little bit. I know the kick the nuts part, and
Oh.
a little bit of it, but not much. I don't know enough to really like use it in a self-defense situation.
Okay.
To me, it seems like Krav Maga is I think it's one of the better. It's because it's a mixture. I think from what I understand, it's a mixture of, like Bruce Lee said, take what's good and throw away what's not. So I think Krav Maga is one of the better training fighting styles.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean-
more practical. You're saying it's like a practical martial art.
Yeah, because like when we were doing like urban warfare, and when you go into rooms in the military, they got like what they call breakaway furniture.
Mhm.
So it's furniture it's supposed to be soft, but the shit's hard as fuck, But when you go into the room, it's a lot of the guy that's teaching you goes Krav Maga it. So basically what he's saying is pick up something and hit him with the fucker. It's and so it's kind of like Krav Maga. You use everything that's around you, from what I understand,
Mhm.
and anything you can do to save your life is
Mhm.
how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the best example I've ever heard.
Yeah. It seems like from what you're saying seems to be based on something very practical. How do we and I don't necessarily want to spend the whole time like talking about like I'm down to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about here. But since this is your area of expertise, we've never had anyone on doing this, that does this to talk about this kind of stuff. And if the folks out there have questions, ask us. We've got the instructor here, and we can get into that. Let's say I invent a Krav Maga move. Let's say I do that, for example.
Okay.
Okay. How do I get that officially into the archives? Into the Jedi archives, this move. How do I get it in there?
Stress test it, battle test it,
Uh-huh.
go over and over and over, and make sure it doesn't fail under pressure.
Okay.
And lastly, the last thing is everybody should be able to do it.
Okay.
Like I should be able to take you guys and your wife and some kid off the street and a woman who's never trained in any combatives and be able to teach it to her easily and have her be able to replicate it relatively the same under stress. Then it's a Krav Maga move.
Okay, so is there actually like a process for that? Like let's say who can do it? Like does it have to be someone like a high level like yourself? Could it be if I see you and I teach it to you and you see like, oh, this is easy? Like how does that work if it works at all? Have you ever seen that happen? Someone comes up with a move?
Not really, because at the end of the day there's a finite amount of ways to punch somebody or kick somebody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing's changed in the last, I don't know, since they were doing it in
Mm-hmm.
the olden days.
Mm-hmm.
So now it becomes more very specific to scenario based situations. If me and Dave are at a Dunkin' Donuts, right? And we're sitting across from each other and somebody comes in and all of a sudden starts trying to attack me from a knife. Well, they can only do it X amount of ways, right? There's only a certain amount of biomechanical ways to do it. So going on principle, which is where Krav Maga, like anything else important, is based off of. I have a principle of attack, I have a principle of defense. So as long as I know the principles of attack and defense, I can do my counterattacks and combatives effectively to create the opportunity for escape. And, so coming up with new shit is usually done because they haven't mastered the basics well enough, so they got to get creative, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. And I'm basically asking that because my angle of attack here is, you always see these videos, right, where guys are doing stupid moves, Have you guys ever seen this? I'm sure you must have seen all the like, let me show you how you disarm someone, this how you take the gun apart, and they're always doing it to a person who's not really moving, not really resisting, or yeah.
And in the gun industry, I think any industry, gun, knife, self-defense, protection, whatever, you're always gonna have fucking retards who ruin something and ruin the optics on people. People go and YouTube how to defend yourself against somebody trying to choke you with a rope from behind, and you get some fucking idiot who has no clue at all what he's doing say, oh, do this in 6 easy moves, and then somebody will try it and then end up getting killed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that, like, don't, oh my God, that's a sore spot for me. Whether it's, and it doesn't matter, it could be the firearms industry, the edged weapons community, anything. There's always some fucking asshole who happens to get all the attention for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's also the same people who think like Master Ken is a real person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Master Ken is actually a martial artist. Well, I'm gonna do the groin, stop the groin. The guy's he's an actor. You know what I mean? He's not a real dude.
Yeah. So. And wrestling is not real. I'm a skeptic. I'm a skeptic about it. Yeah, it's not real, dude.
You mean Hulk Hogan didn't really do all that shit?
Well, look, I would say, okay, it's a sport. It's definitely a sport. You have to be an athlete.
Yeah, you can't do that shit, man, and not be able to be athletic.
Yeah, you have to. They train to be able to do those moves to each other. But if you don't choreograph that, how's that going to happen? Like if you're gonna actually jump back and go into the ropes and then come. The person, it has to be choreographed.
Yeah,
for
it's
all that kind of
scripted,
stuff to happen.
well, roughly scripted.
Well,
Yeah.
I beg to differ on some of it being real. I
What do
mean, have you ever seen somebody body slammed on concrete?
Oh shit.
That's
Yep.
So I
Yeah, I
mean,
have.
you know,
Yeah. He didn't get up.
some of it is, yeah, some of it's real. It's
mhm.
just they're in a safer environment with.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah. And I think there is some level. That's what I'm trying to say. There's some level of athleticism that go. I always remember that interview that what was I forget the name of the reporter that did that thing with Hulk Hogan, and he was telling him it isn't real. And then Hulk Hogan smacks him, and he was like, "Does that feel real?"
yeah, because you see some of those guys' chest is like red, and
Oh,
I mean, you've got guys that's been killed. You've got
Mhm.
guys that had their neck broke. Stone Cold broke his neck. Remember that? He broke
yeah.
his neck in a
Mhm.
match.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of it can be done effectively.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you're dealing with speed and gravity even in a stage situation. Shit happens and accidents happen. You can't jump off the top rope, and your partner will do his best to absorb you as you go into the ground. But
Mhm.
fuck, man, that's still gravity and speed. Some of those things are science based that just don't work well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, they're definitely still risking their bodies, so I don't want to say that they're not risking their bodies and stuff like that. Look, there's a lot of things I don't think are real. I mean, I'm really skeptical. I'm not into sports, so I don't know a lot about sports, but I think that all professional sports to me are not really real. I think there's a lot of control going on in the background, and it seems like a lot of the people who win seem too coincidental. There's always some kind of, especially lately, there's always some kind of fairy tale story behind these guys. They've always been trying to win the World Series, and now all of a sudden they win it. When, if you go back even just like 20 years ago, it was the same teams dominating all the time. Like I said, I'm not into sports, but I remember living in New York and with the Bulls and the Knicks, and the Bulls always kicked the Knicks' ass. And they won all
Yeah.
these champions. They didn't do it every single time, but they did it. And nowadays it seems like that's just some kind of rotating thing. Like, oh, we're gonna let you guys win and get some money. We're gonna.
Well, I don't watch a lot of sports, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I don't
Yeah.
know. Last
Yeah.
time I watched sports, Michael Jordan was top of his game.
That's what. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. When I lived in New York, I would be forced to watch basketball. Like especially the Bulls versus the Knicks.
Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I know. Do you have an opinion on this, Dave? Are you a sports guy?
Uh, Sports. I haven't watched sports since Emmitt Smith.
Oh
Um,
shit.
that's that. I watch a
Mhm.
little bit when Cam Newton, because I'm a Panthers fan. I'm from North Carolina, so I watched it when Cam Newton, and then when they
Mhm.
booted him, I kind of don't
That's
watch it no more. But sports
Mhm.
hasn't been sports since Dallas Cowboys, Redskins,
Mhm.
49ers, Deion Sanders. I mean, those types of sports you could um it was hard to pick who would win. Where now is, if Green Bay goes to the Super Bowl, like 90% chance they're gonna win. That type of thing. Like you say, it's
Mhm.
more of a setup
Mhm.
than it's for making money. So
Yeah.
I just don't watch it no more.
Yeah. I feel a lot of stuff has become that. And
Everything is monetized.
yeah.
Everything that you do has to be monetized right now.
Mhm.
Everything that you do, everything you wear. If you're not being paid by a
Mhm.
sponsor, you don't wear it. I mean, everything is monetized right now, and money is really useless, to be honest
Mhm.
with you.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I think we're kind of like in the gig economy where everything is a gig, right? Everything
right?
is. I remember when I started doing this YouTube thing, and people felt sorry for me. They're like, "So what's wrong with you? Like, why are you doing that? You don't want to make any money, or like, so it was just that kind of thing. Now there's kids going to college to get a degree to do this, and it seems like okay, this is more of a deliberate thing now, but everything is a deliberate thing. There's people whose job is delivering you your groceries. If you tell me in the 80s when I had to drag a cart down to the grocery store, with my mom and bring those groceries back, that someone was going to make money doing that,
Yep.
I'll be like, whatever, don't believe it. But everything is a gig now, everything that you do,
Yep.
you know?
Everything is monetized, man.
Yeah.
Everything is. That's just the way the world is now.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand, like, entertainment is the biggest monetization of all. Everything is for entertainment now. I mean, you got millionaires that fucking fall and damn near break their neck. Now they're millionaires. I mean, that
Hmm.
shit is stupid.
Hmm.
And that just lets you know the value of money isn't what it used to be, you
Hmm.
know, because, honestly, I can honestly tell you money don't make you happy,
Hmm.
and people don't understand that.
Hmm.
I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, one of my buddies, he's about 60 years old. He
Hmm.
told me, he said, I was happier when I was poor. He said, when I could go outside and play and we grew our own crops and stuff, he said, now I got money, I just got problems. He's like, my head is spinning every day. And I
Yeah.
was like, I feel you, man.
Hmm.
I feel you.
Yeah, there's truth. There is a lot of truth to that. I often say that to Lola. I remember when I met Lola and she was in college, and I just had like a job, and back then, if you asked me, I would think, man, life is tough, right? Life is tough. Like I'm living paycheck to paycheck. But it was when I look back on it now, I was like, man, those are the good old days. We didn't have kids. We didn't have to pay for this thing, pay for that thing. And it's like a lot of times, the more money you make, the more money you're spending, right? The more bills you have, more responsibilities. The things feed off of you. Everything now has to get paid for, kind of a
Hmm.
deal,
Well, there's something to be said for, I've been lucky enough to do some traveling, and it never fails at a third world country. You see kids who are kicking a soccer ball made of plastic bags, like 400 plastic bags, and they're kicking it, and they're having the best time ever.
hmm
And then you go to a place where life's a little bit easier, and this kid wants, he wants the latest Xbox or whatever. Which that comes down to parenting. That's
hmm
that's every kid's always going to be a little greedy, but it's the lack of appreciation of what you have, and that's what kills me about in North America is we just take too much shit for granted,
hmm
you know,
Yeah.
and it does, and a lot of it's got to go to the parent. You can't just shit on kids because
Well, yeah,
when
for
I'm
sure.
sure when all of us were 8, 9, 10, we were stupid idiots, and it was up to our parents to fucking to lead us in a direction of what was right and what was wrong. So
hmm
I don't shit on kids about being ungrateful. I have to shit on the parents and being like, listen, come on, man, put them into understanding the value of a dollar and earning it,
hmm
and that seems to be kind of on the down. Like nobody's really doing that.
I think that's true. Kids come into the world most of the time as like a blank slate. There are some
Yep.
evil babies that are born into the world. I'm just going to tell you that
Yeah.
right now. Do you guys have
Yeah.
kids?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You
Well,
guys
I
have
have, I
I've
kids?
have
got,
a, I have a, I have a son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got three.
You have three?
I got
Okay.
my daughter is 22. My son, one of my boys is 18, and the other one's 17.
Okay, cool.
So,
Yeah. So, and then what about you, Marcus?
My son is 23.
23. Okay, so our
Yeah.
kids are kind of in the same range because I have a 21 and 22-year-old, both boys. Um, and they're good
Yeah.
people. I don't want to, if they ever they don't give a crap about what I do really. If they ever look at this in the distant future, and they think I'm talking bad about them, they're good people. That's why I would agree that it's not really the kids as much as it is the parents and what we instill, and then also the crap that exists in the world versus like I'm 49 years old. The things that existed back then when I was younger, there's 100 times more crap now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Dave, how old's your daughter?
22, should be 22 the 11th of this month.
Yeah, this is why
So
he started
so
making guns.
well, yeah. So she
Yeah.
went through the internet, as it was starting to get to the where it is now, and
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to be a 16-year-old girl now
Mhm.
compared to, like, it's evil. It's an ugly, ugly thing. People can, like, I have a little girl in my life, and she is 16, and I'm kind of like on the outside looking in, and I look at some of the shit she has to deal with. She sings on a video, and all of a sudden she's got people like, you should kill yourself, and all these comments. I'm like, look, man, I need to know the IP addresses of where these motherfuckers are,
Mhm.
because, and you're just allowed to say things without getting punched in the face.
Um,
Being a
yes.
kid now is fuck. That's a type of hell I would never want to go through again,
Yeah.
personally.
Now, I believe in freedom of speech. But I think at the same time, the problem that we have today versus probably because I think we seem like we're all somewhere in the same age range. I don't know. I might be the oldest one here.
I'm 52.
Oh, you're 52. Okay, so I'm not the oldest one.
I'm 41.
Dave's 32.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit, I wish I was. I wish I was fucking 32.
But here's the thing. Like, I remember in my days when we didn't have as much stuff, you said some shit about someone, you are probably going to see, when you're saying it, you're probably seeing that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you say it like behind their back or whatever, there's not too long before that is coming right back to you. So you have to be willing to take a punch in the face, you know, or stand up for what you say. But that doesn't really seem to exist anymore. There's not consequences. I think people should be able to say what they want to say, but at the same time, you know, there were more consequences in the past. It seems now people are more free to say things because there's no consequences for it.
I don't get it wrong. I'm all for the freedom of speech, but I am like you. You know, you're going to get punched in the face if you sit there and say something to somebody, and you can't back it up. You know what I mean? And I don't think that there's anything wrong with having freedom of speech. I love freedom of speech. However, while I need to thicken my skin so that it doesn't hurt my feelings, you have to be accountable for what you say and do on this planet. So if you're going to say some shit, like if all of a sudden somebody said something to Dave's daughter and I happen to be beside them, I have the right. You have the right to say whatever you want, but I have the right to fucking put you in the hospital then
for being disrespectful.
I I don't have that right.
But if you're depending on your level of disrespect. But it's guess what? It's not easy for people to be that disrespectful in person, as what you see on the internet these days.
Ever.
Yeah.
Never.
You know.
I think it boils down to how do I say this without offending soft people?
Oh, Jesus, David.
Oh, don't worry about offending anyone.
Here's how I look at it. I think that it boils down to we raise kids. Our children nowadays are raised too fucking soft. And I believe in freedom of speech and shit too, but at the same time, like my youngest son will be 17 in about a month. My other boy is 18. And if somebody talks shit to them, they don't hesitate to talk shit back. And I told them you got to have tough skin. You know what I mean? You got to be able to talk shit back and back it up too. And you got so many people nowadays that victimize themselves. So it's if someone talks shit to you, you victimize yourself for it. You're it hurt my feelings. He said, fuck your feelings. Go do something about it. That's how I feel about the whole situation. So that's just my personal opinion, though. You know, my daughter, she's had guys talk shit to her, and she'll stop the car and get out and get in their face, like, "What the fuck are you gonna do?" And shut them completely down. And because her skin isn't soft, she's not a victim. And that's one reason why I got into self-defense and fighting and stuff like that too. Was when I was younger, I was picked on and shit and bullied and all that. And I don't want to make a long story, but I went home one day. I had got bullied and beat. My ass was whipped by about 6 guys. And when I got home, I was young. And when I got home, I remember hiding in the corner because my clothes were tore up, and my mom I was afraid I was going to get my ass whipped, because back then you got your ass whipped for shit. And my mom come in there and she said, "What's wrong with you?" And I told her what happened, and she took me in the room. She sat me down, and she said, "Why wouldn't you tell me?" And now my mom, it was like 5 girls and like 15 boys in her family. So they were raised tough. So my mom looks at me and she says, "I want you to remember something." She says, "I'm never the victim, even if you attack me." She said, "I'm always the aggressor." And then she leaves out and she comes back in with a handful of sharpened pencils. And she says, next time, be the aggressor. And long story short, I didn't get picked on anymore after that situation. So
your mom's
and that stuck with me
John
forever.
Wick, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said, and that stuck with me. She said, I'm never the victim, even if you attack me. I'm always the aggressor.
Hmm.
And so that stuck with me, man. If you keep that concept, you fighting for something. You fighting to live.
Yep.
Stop being
Hmm.
a
Yep.
fucking pansy.
Hmm.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No argument at all over here.
Yeah. I think it's important to make, like, I know with my boys, so it's kind of a, like my generation growing up, our parents didn't know how to say I love you and hug you and all that kind of stuff, right? My parents were born right after World War II. And we were all born in Guyana, right? Third world country. They don't understand the concept of that. You know, the most contact that you're getting is licks. You know what we call licks? Yeah, lashes for
Yeah.
everything.
Island love.
Yes, exactly, exactly. But so with my kids, I didn't raise them like in that same way. I raised them where I would hug my kids and say I love you and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I'll make fun of them. I'll say, yeah, you got a big head.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I would be the person to always make fun of them. And the reason for that is it's just like my parents would do this with me. They never let me go out somewhere first to drink, to find out what it is to drink alcohol. That
House first.
yeah, that kind of stuff happened at home. So, I feel like by making fun of my kids and being who I am with them, they realize like, hey, this is my dad, this is my mom. They're talking to me about whatever it is about my own person, and we're having fun and making fun of it. So if you go out there and you're dealing with people, you feel the same way, right? If someone starts making fun of you, you're not like, oh no, you can't say that about me. You're able to reflect that back to them.
Yeah, if your parents are saying shit that's like truthful, like you
Hmm.
got a big head or you got a big mouth or whatever, when somebody else tries to insult you, you're looking like, is that the best you got?
Yeah,
My dad fucking rips me way harder
Yeah.
than that. You're a
Yeah.
fucking pussy for those comments.
Mhm.
You know, tough love. There's something to be said for tough love.
Yeah,
And
I think
island
so.
love is tough, man. I grew up with Jamaicans. Don't
Oh, you
even
did?
fucking start with me. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Licks.
Yeah, licks. Oh, you know about licks.
Oh, licks for days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's interesting. You grew up with Jamaicans. I was going to ask you where Marcus came from. Because, I don't typically see a white guy named Marcus. I mean, going back in the days, right? Like Marcus Aurelio, whatever.
Yeah.
The Roman Marcus, but you don't see that too often.
No, it's true. I don't have a lot of understanding of why things happened the way they did growing up, but supposedly my biological father wanted me to be spelt with a K, Marcus with a K, and my mother, for whatever reason, said, fuck you, it's going to be with a C. And, I don't really know where it came from. I really have no idea at all.
Okay.
My mother was an alcoholic, so she just beat my ass on a regular basis. And in my neighborhood, it was, Jamaicans, Indians, East Indians, Chinese people, everybody broke and fucking filled with drunk people. So you got inundated with a whole bunch of different cultures. When you're learning to play bones before you're learning to play stickball,
dominoes.
Slam them down.
Yeah. You know what's funny? As someone from the Caribbean, I can't play dominoes.
What?
No, I can't actually.
Oh,
I know that's probably. I should be.
I think we're gonna have to be. It was nice talking to y'all. Take care.
I should be. I should be embarrassed of that.
Right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just telling you. So we meet in the real world. Don't try to play dominoes with me. I don't. My parents obviously are big into dominoes. I also never played cricket, and I was born in Guyana. Never played cricket. Lived in England and all that. But never played cricket. I'm a chess guy. My dad.
I'm checkers.
Oh, you're checkers.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say you play chess, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I play chess too. Where I grew up, it was tonk and cards. Tonk.
Oh shit!
That was pretty much it. Yeah. So.
Wait, you said it was what in cards?
Tonk and 5-card draw.
Oh, okay. I don't even. So what is that?
It's I can't even explain it. I ain't played it so fucking long.
Yeah. I can't play cards either. I cannot play cards either. That's like one of my.
Listen, I learned spades at a young age,
Mm-hmm.
and it became so competitive. I just had to stop, and it so scarred me for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You say we're gonna play spades, and I start getting nervous and twitchy.
Really?
Fuck that. People
Really?
get stabbed and juked, and
No, chess was my thing, but people would get mad at me over chess. Like my father, it was a grandmaster chess player.
Oh,
So I remember when I was a kid.
Who?
Yeah, when I was a kid, he would play with the Prime Minister of Guyana. And I would hide under the table and get their, like they had these bottles of beer, like in big green glass bottles that they would be putting them around the table. So I'd be under the table, drinking that stuff or whatever. But I learned how to play chess at an early age, but I didn't do a lot of other sports. But I think chess like formulates how my brain works, because I think way ahead of a lot of things happening. I think one of the things with me that I see, and not everyone in the world is like that. I live in the present and whatever's going on right now, but I'm always thinking like multiple steps ahead of whatever's happening. And it kind of makes me frustrated when I look at other people. And every day, I explain it this way. A lot of people, you can divide them into two categories. They're either deliberate or accidental. But most people are accidental. So everything that happens to them is not their fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh no, this happened to me. Just like Dave said with his mom, right? You're always the aggressor. But there's I think that's like a powerful thing that she said, because a lot of people's like, no, I didn't do it. The world did it to me.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
They victimized themselves.
Yeah. And instead of being like deliberate, like, hey, if this happens to you, like we're talking about, if you say something to someone, if I mouth off, which happened very often, I'm expecting to get my ass beat.
Yeah.
So I'm not
cause and effect, right?
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have, gone after that football player over there. Yeah, maybe that's why I got my ass kicked. Yeah, exactly.
You learn tactics at a young age.
Yeah. Well, I think like Dave said, I always like fought back, and like I remember one time there were these kids in high school, because I'm a nerd, admittedly, right? And I was real skinny and all that kind of stuff when I was in high school. And I graduated when I just turned 16 years old, so everyone was older than me. And so this big, muscle-bound football guy, already hair on his face and all that kind of stuff, was going around smacking all the kids in the back of the head. And I was like, yeah, this guy's not going to smack me in the back of the head. So sure enough, he came up and smacked me in the back of the head. So I was like, okay. When he went and sat down somewhere, I went behind him, smacked him in the back of the head. So then he's just looking at me like, what happened? And so my gym, I don't know if people still have gyms like this, but in our gym, there was a track upstairs. So, like, I ran up upstairs. He started chasing me. I ran upstairs, and I'm running around the track. He's running around the track. He's like, dude, I run around this track. He's literally talking to me while we're running around the track. He's like, I run around this track every day, man. You're going to have to stop at some point. So I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to have to stop. I stopped, and we got into a fight, and he beat me up a little bit, and he was like, you know what?
You're solid.
Yeah, you're actually cool, because you actually fought back. I never had any problems with that guy ever again.
I think that that's most, if we look back at our childhood, if we stood up for ourselves, and I know times that I did and it didn't work the way it was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But if we teach our kids to stand up to adversity, whatever that looks like. Whatever it is, standing up for themselves, and caveating off of Dave's mom,
mm-hmm.
and being the aggressor and saying, hey, I'm going to get my ass kicked, or I'm going to have a negative reaction to this, but I have to do this because I need to be able to hold my head up and be like, at least I fucking stood my ground. And
mm-hmm.
if our kids could just get a little bit of that, just even a little bit of that,
mm-hmm.
we probably wouldn't be having the suicide rate that we do, quite honestly. If they would stand up for themselves and just be, because there's a byproduct to standing up for yourself. All of a sudden,
mm-hmm.
your confidence goes up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, your self-worth goes up a little bit more. And before you know it, you're not crushed by what we would view as the stupidest thing ever, but to them, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get them to have a little more self-worth, and that comes from getting your ass kicked and standing up to your aggressor.
Yeah. I think also, and you guys could tell me if you think I'm wrong on this. I think we're living in a world where everyone expects to win all the time.
Oh fuck yeah, participation trophies.
Yeah. But it's like everyone expects to win. If you don't win, you know, and to me, I think like it's not really about winning. Yes, you do want to win, right? You want to work as hard as possible, you want to do your best. But the problem is if you sit there for a second and you go, "You know what? I might lose here." And then you don't do something, that's worse.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing. And that's the thing, like I try to teach my kids, or I try to tell people, don't do something only when you think, hey, if I do this, I'm going to win.
Yeah. What it's a cancerous mentality. So I'm dating myself, but in Canada, we used to have these things, kind of like athlete days, or, you know, like exercise days where you do a certain amount of exercises and you would get these badges, right? A bronze, silver, gold award of excellence, and that was for your ability to be athletic. And that, fuck man, I'd be lucky if I got a bronze, okay? And if you sucked, you sucked. Like there was no, I ended up actually having to beat a kid this is more information you need to know. I beat a kid because I wanted that award of excellence, because I was never going to get one with my physical stature. But in that age and era, if you sucked, it was very apparent because you didn't get anything. Like they were like, "Fuck you showed up and you sucked. You better do better." Right. And they've gotten rid of that in Canada. They've gotten rid of all the physical, basically whatever, I can't remember what
requirements or standards and stuff like that.
They just got rid of all of it, and all of a sudden, when you start cutting out physical stresses, well, man, all of a sudden, everybody has an excuse now. Oh, I'm a computer guy. I don't need to be physically fit. Well, fuck you. Yeah, you do. You need to be able at least to run around the block at least once. Okay? And we're going to make fun of you about it, but you got to be able to be physical. You have to be able to do something physically in your lifetime. And the decline in the last 20 years is like almost like straight down, because they're just letting everybody get these fucking participation trophies. You know, I came in 81st out of fucking 75 people. Woo!
Everyone can't be everything and do everything. I'm sorry, we're not all equal. The only place that we should be equal is in the eyes of the law. That's my opinion. You know, we're not all equal.
911, they don't fucking sit there and say, okay, we're coming to your house. What's your bank? What's your skin color? What's your socioeconomic situation? You're calling for help. They got to fucking send 50 to come and bail you out.
Right. Yeah. Or is that the way it should be? That's the way it should be.
Yep. My bad. That's how it should be.
Yeah. Not always necessarily like that.
Yeah.
You know. But that's the way that it should be. I just think it's crazy that people think like everyone could do or be everything, and then people believe that, like, oh, if I say I'm something, I'm something. Oh, okay, you know, I understand. I believe in positive thinking.
Yeah, but there's a reality to it then.
Yeah, but you can't say, if you're a man, you can't say I'm a woman, I'm gonna have babies. Nope. You know, it's, you know, you can say it if you want to.
Men cry about being constipated. How the fuck are we gonna bear children?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I do. Believe you me, I don't ever want to have babies. Okay, and it's not like I'm not trying to. I think in lots of ways women are stronger than men, but in if you look at actual physicality of, you know, if you're comparing men to women, like a man who's pretty much the same size and all that kind of stuff, typically the guy's gonna have denser bones, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? There's definitely women that could kick men's asses. A lot of times, though, as men, we're stronger. But there's definitely women who are more fit and strong and all that kind of stuff. Without a doubt.
But again, strength is a term that's based on what, though, right? I mean, I think, I can't speak for either of you, but I mean, I was raised by a single mother, okay? My mother was 98 pounds. She broke out of fucking cuffs and beat cops on a regular basis, okay? So she's 98 pounds. Physically, she looks pale and weak, yet she's fucking throwing hands with grown-ass men.
Yeah, now, she had that crazy juice. I know.
But so it's all relative. Strength is all relative. But there's parameters for everything. Like, I don't know. Maybe let's take the three of us. Each of you, each of us has a gift, like something that we're good at. Well, I'll use chess. I'm not going to try to fucking be good at chess with you. I'm going to get my fucking ass kicked. There's no way. Know your role. Stay in your lane to some degree and know what you're good at and what you're not good at. And don't claim that you're going to be fucking awesome at everything.
I agree with that.
You know?
Yeah. It's not important. I don't think it's important for us to be everything. Dave, I sense you want to jump in here, but you're too polite.
Well,
jump in, man.
I think women have a higher pain threshold than men.
Yep.
Because if it came to having kids, I would not have fucking kids. Hey, there's no way, dude.
No.
I mean, I watch
over.
my children be born. Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing. But I told my boys were my daughter's oldest, and I told my boys if I would have been the woman, you guys wouldn't have been born. After the first one,
truth.
That would have been fuck. They have a higher pain tolerance than men. I believe, but men are generally stronger than women. But my mom was single parent too, and she, like I said, she was around boys. She fought and things of that nature, and I think it just boils down to the aggressiveness of the person and how bad the person wants to win when it comes to it. Because you've got 90-pound women that do like pick cars up to get them off their kids and shit like that. So it just comes to how bad do you want it and the aggressiveness of the person.
Yeah,
but pain tolerance, women by far.
But whenever we do a generalization, it's going to bite us in the ass, right? Because people will look and say, well, that person's a man, so that man should be strong enough to do this. Well, that's unfair because maybe that man is not able to do that for whatever reasons, right? It's got to be done on the individual basis. But one thing, like Dave said, across the board, women are much fucking stronger than us on a whole bunch of other levels, especially when it comes to pain tolerance.
Yeah, mentally, there's a lot of things. I mean, if you look at America, what's happening now? Who's raising a lot of before it was single moms. Now that it's single grandmoms.
Yeah.
Before my mom passed, she raised. My sister has. My sister has 2 girls that my mom basically raised those girls for different reasons. I won't get into all that right now, but so my mom was my mom's was Indian, right? Little Indian lady, but she's tough as all get out. Everyone I ever met was afraid of her, including my dad, who was a big tough guy and a street fighter his whole entire life, and muscle bound and all that kind of stuff. But when she picked up my mom would I think she knew Krav Maga before it was ever a thing, because if she was coming, she had no qualms about making anything into a weapon. And I've heard stories about how people were afraid of her. She would chop down doors with axes. She just didn't mess around, right? But then, and so she had the strength to raise myself and my 3 siblings, and then raise her 2 grandkids. And I remember one time that her and the girls came to visit me, and we took them to Orlando to Disney World or something. And I was like, oh, I hope you girls are ready to, they were teenagers. I was like, oh, I hope you girls are ready to walk around this place. So my mom now is old and all this kind of stuff. And we're walking around, and these girls were crying. I've never seen a look of hate from my nieces, who I love, when I try to make them walk around this thing. And my mom was just tough. Here's why I stopped eventually. Because my mom came to me over in the corner and said, you are really you're really going you're being too tough on these girls. Give them a break. But she was walking everywhere. I said, yeah, let's walk, let's do this or whatever. And I realized wow, this is, these are tough people, and we're not as tough. I'm always trying to tell people we're not as tough as our parents were. Well, this is what I think is going on. Yeah. Different
times though, right? If we look at all 3 of us and we look at our grandparents and our great grandparents, to try to compare would be an insult to them for what they've accomplished and what they've had to go through. Right? It's just, we haven't had tough times. We haven't had any tough times. Fuck all. After anybody who was around the Depression and after that, Like you can't say you don't know what tough times are, man.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I've seen some what I think like it's all relative, right? I've
Yes,
seen what I
fair
think
enough,
is tough, but if I look at history and see what people went through, I think maybe there's things that do happen now that it's probably just as crazy. I'm gonna say war when you're actually in combat. That's just as crazy. But I don't know if there's many jobs today that are like the jobs that our parents had and the things they had to do when they had to walk or take a bicycle to get there, and walk miles and miles. Like the whole thing's like, oh, I had to walk uphill, downhill, and do all this kind of stuff. I had to, like, my dad would always tell me he had to pump the water.
Yep.
And we take it for granted that you have to, that, water just magically comes out the faucet.
I go to a fucking, look at this shit, right? Bottled water. Dave,
Yeah.
in your lifetime, do you ever think you'd be fucking buying bottled water?
No, we actually had well water. So we had the
yeah.
bucket that you drop down in the well and pull the water up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had it.
That's
Best
hardcore.
fucking water in the world. It's like
So-
from underground streams.
Did you guys, so when you fetch water, did you just drink it like that, or did you boil it, or what did you guys have to do?
Fuck no, you drink it straight from the. As soon as you pull it up, you fucking drink it right there. It's
Oh, okay.
it's ice cold on the verge of freezing, but it's
Wow.
not. It's the best tasting water because it comes through the minerals and stuff. 'Cause
Mhm.
I think they said like water purifies itself like every 100 yards or something underground.
Mhm.
So it's like completely clean, crystal clear water, and you just
Mhm.
it's the best shit. You won't taste the water like that today unless
Oh,
you
no.
because there's so much chemical and stuff. But
Mhm.
you won't taste nothing like that today unless you get someone with an actual well, 150-foot well that gets from an underground stream. It's the best water in
Mhm.
the world. So
Yeah.
that's how I grew up. So
Wow.
I never thought I'd be buying fucking water, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
It's
lot of
ridiculous.
things. Well, look, you didn't like now people think, oh, where do you like? So, for example, one of the things in the news is that the price of chicken is going up. I don't know if you all noticed that. Lola's been complaining to me. I was reading about it today. That there's a chicken shortage along with it. Everything is short right now, right? Are you guys aware of that?
Yeah.
That's because of that damn ship that sat there and went sideways. Fucked everybody right up.
I think everything, like the car dealerships are short on getting cars in because there's some kind of chip shortage. Appliances are hard to come by. Lumber's hard to come by, so construction's having tough time. Well, so chicken is hard to come by now, and the price of chicken's going up, and chicken wings and all that kind of stuff. People believe that, hey, where does chicken come from? The supermarket, right? I actually had to kill chickens for example, living in Nigeria, this is how you get a chicken, not from a supermarket. There's a chicken walking around out there. You get that son of a gun. Yeah, you chop its head off. You wring its neck or something like that, and you have to boil that thing, pluck the feathers.
You hypnotize that fucker. You ever seen that?
No.
You've never
I've
seen that
heard-
hypnotized chicken?
Have you
laid the chicken
hypnotized a
down
chicken?
on
Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
You lay the chicken down on the block and you take your finger and you draw an imaginary line of nothing, and he'll stretch his neck out and he'll lay there. You can walk away. He won't move. And you chop his fucking head off. Wow.
Okay, I have never
Yeah,
seen that.
hypnotized
Okay.
chicken. You've never seen that before?
No.
Shit on this show.
No, I've seen what's the name, Matthew McConaughey doing the chicken dance. When you said hypnotize, I thought you were going to say like you have to do some kind of crazy chicken dance or whatever to hypnotize.
Nah, they just call it hypnotizing. You just basically draw an imaginary line in front of him and he'll stretch his neck out and that fucker will lay there. He won't move.
Hmm.
You can walk away and he won't move until you move him.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
why I do that shit, but that's how we used to do.
That's
Yeah.
why we eat them.
Well,
'cause
well,
they're
we grew. Yeah, we grew. And see, this is
True.
the thing. They're talking like, oh, there's a chicken shortage right now, but shit, there's a lady right up the road that grows chickens around here. So we don't
Mhm.
have a shortage.
Mhm.
You know, we and that's the thing about nowadays. You don't have the shortages of stupid shit that you had. You know, you got more dumb shit now than you did back in the day because we grew
Mhm.
our own chickens, our own garden, our own cattle, our own hogs. You
Mhm.
know, even though we were poor, we still had all the essentials that we needed. Nowadays, I
Mhm.
mean, fuck, people would trip if they don't got Starbucks. They'll lose their fucking minds, bro.
Yeah,
Like for
that's true.
Starbucks.
That's
If
true.
Amazon all of a sudden shut down and blew up, this world would be fucked.
Dude, if the internet, can I tell you something? Like we're literally talking over the internet. I make my living over the internet. You know how much I pray the internet will stop so I could get some sleep. But imagine, you know, it's like this COVID thing that's been going on for a year and people aren't working and all that. I never took a break, and I would tell Lola, I was like, I wish they would put some cops out there to stop me. You know, just so I could stay home and rest for a little while and actually get some sleep. Like I've gotten more busy, but yeah, I think this is one of the things. Like we are accustomed to stuff, and we think, because I remember when things came in seasons. Do you guys remember that?
Yep. Fuck yeah. Yeah.
There's like certain things you didn't see it. It's not season for that. Oh, mangoes. It's not mango season, dude.
Yeah.
You know, now you get mangoes all the time, and you think, oh, well, I'm supposed to be able to get that all the time because I want it.
Yeah, I remember growing and canning our own food, you know, putting it in jars and stuff, and corn and peppers. And I remember you could walk down this dirt road and pick blackberries and raspberries and grapes right off the side of the road. That's just the best fucking time, bro.
But you were fucking putting them in one in your mouth and then one in the dish.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Razor JB, by the way, I don't know if you guys can see the chat, but in your windows there should be a chat window that should be able to pop out there. But Razor JB says, hypnotize him, stretch his neck, and then step on his head and pull. My 4-year-old son did it, very little effort. Wow.
Nice. All right. Okay, I actually just saw the chat just now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Technologically retarded. So
yeah, Dave dropping that chicken hypnotization, you know.
But see, that's the thing though, like if right now, if the economy dies, if everything died right now, I'm gonna survive because I got canned food, I know how to grow, I know how to hunt. And you get all these other people, these fucking pansies, they're gonna it'll be mass suicides and shit, man. They won't know what to do. You know, and it comes from us growing up in hard times and them having a more luxurious life than we did. You know, so if I lost everything right now, I'd be okay.
Who I see people every day who get McDonald's Uber Eats to their door. I'm like, for the love of all that is good, man.
Yeah.
Is that really what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Get
that is what we're doing.
Lazy ass up and walk.
Dude, that's what we're doing. That's what we're now. I'm not complaining about it in this aspect. Like my kids, I told them, hey, you guys, because you know, with everything they're in college, so they're doing school from home, and I was like, no, you guys have to go get jobs. Especially like I went out. Lola and I were out somewhere, and we went to a McDonald's in the morning, and they wouldn't let anyone inside the McDonald's, and so I was like, what? Here in Florida, I was like, what's the problem? Why can't people come in here? And they were like, oh, because we can't hire anyone. No one wants to work. I was like, this is no. This can't be. So, you know, they went out there, and one of the jobs that they got was like delivering. I don't think they delivered food necessarily, but they were delivering groceries and stuff like that to people. And yeah, man, we're at the point where people don't even leave. People are so scared now over COVID and everything. They're getting their food delivered from people. Here's the problem. That's people. There's still people involved in this bringing your stuff over. It's one of the things that helps us keep us active. Go out and walk around the store. Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah, go get your food. If you're not hunting it, at least go get it.
Listen, well, I'm about 5 minutes away from a Walmart. I think I might fucking punk ass and get up and go and walk a little bit. Jesus. So your wife asked if there's a specific diet as part of Krav Maga fitness training.
Okay, yes, I did see her say that. Yes. So
I don't know if she means me specifically or if Krav Maga has some kind of like jiu-jitsu, like the Brazilians have like a specific Gracie diet that they have people follow. If that's the case, if she's asking about if Krav Maga people have one, no,
okay.
We do not, and I do not. I don't. I like red meat, and I'm now gonna go find a bunch of fucking chickens so that I can hypnotize them and cut them up.
You were eating fucking donuts on Instagram the other day.
That's not Krav Maga approved.
No, I'm coffee and donuts pretty much 24/7. That's basically my diet, more or less.
Okay.
So no.
So I guess a good question. I don't know if Dave has any questions. Dave, feel free to jump in. My question would be, do you have like a specific routine for working out, or like a certain amount of time or whatever that you're?
Well, actually, and I should, I
Mhm.
should, but when I spent the first 25, like from 15 to like 25, 10 years of doing like competitive bodybuilding and eating 10,000 calories a day and just all that, like I hate working out. I hate food. I hate everything about it. So
Oh.
now my workouts are very functionally based, like
Mhm.
going for long walks. If I find an area where I can do some pull-ups or some push-ups or some dips, like it has to be able to function. Like I need to be able to, I just want to be able to move. Like
Mhm.
mobility is the only thing I care about right now,
Okay.
because I'm literally at the last ends of my life. Like even if I live to 90, which I hope I do, shit's decreasing, arthritis and ligaments and tendons. So my biggest thing is just mobility. That's all I give a shit about now.
Okay. Now, first of all, I gotta say this, man. If you want to be more mystical about what you do, you gotta say no. I only eat nuts and berries, and every day I do a dance in the morning. No,
Well, the
you're
part with
being
that
too
is that,
real.
listen, Dave will witness. He's a witness to this. Like, if you
Mhm.
go to any of my social media, especially my Instagram, yeah, I would have had to do that like 10 years ago. Be
Mhm.
mystical, because I'm so fucking transparent
Mhm.
with everything I do.
Mhm.
Good days, bad days. Uh, yeah, I'm way too transparent to be mystical.
No, it's good, man. It's good. It's like it's about real life here. You got any questions, Dave? Or
I do. I have
okay,
one statement and one question.
okay.
My statement is the 90% of the world operates off of one of two things: fear and victimization, and pride and praise, self-praise. So
Mhm.
you're either afraid of everything or worship and praise me. And that's
Mhm.
how the most of the world's operating now, and that's why we have a bunch of fucking pansies. My question to you, Marcus, is why Krav Maga? Why no other discipline?
Mhm.
What got you into the Krav Maga and not Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or you know Jeet Kune Do or anything like that?
That's a good question. The main reason was when I did my research about wanting to be a student again. There was nothing else except for Krav Maga that really spoke to me when it came to real world violence, which and I know that you could be a black belt and cream of some young guy, but if some dude walks up and he's a and
What?
he's a, and he's a goer,
Uh huh.
there's no taekwondo that's going to save your ass against a
Mhm.
fighter who knows how to fight.
Mhm.
And I grew up fighting on the street, getting my ass kicked. Um, so I needed to find something as a student that I was going to be able to uh, translate into working in bars or just living my life. And I haven't found anything yet. And nothing against Jeet Kune Do or Jiu Jitsu or any of that other stuff, but none of those deal with multiple attackers, or none of those deal with a broken beer bottle or a pipe and three dudes.
Mhm.
Like that's Krav Maga is the only system I've found that does that.
Mhm.
So it just spoke to me a lot better than any other kind of martial art or any other combative system.
Mhm. That's interesting. If people want to get into Krav Maga, where do they start?
Uh, well, you would probably just Google Krav Maga schools
Mhm.
nearby, and I'm
Mhm.
talking about pre-COVID. Like I can't, like now there's fucking schools are
Oh,
closing every fucking day, but
yeah. COVID, to me, COVID is. I'm not saying that it's not that there's not some kind of virulent flu, because I believe that there is, but COVID is just as immaterial as money. It's just this
yeah,
imaginary thing, that the fear of it that we're all
the
making
fear,
up. Yeah,
yeah,
because we're not living our lives, and we think somehow like this is saving us of us not living our lives and like being as active as we should be, or even going out and seeing how many people are losing their life because they're not going to visit the doctor. When you get to a certain age, especially, you need to go, make some kind of regular visits to your doctor and get
yeah,
checked up for things, or if you're feeling pains. But if you can't leave your house to go
yeah,
get food,
yeah, yeah.
there's people probably
Zoom
dying just
meetings
off of
don't
that.
cut. Yeah, Zoom meetings with your doctor are not gonna fucking find find out that you have cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm oh fuck, that's
It's
a whole different day's conversation. To answer your question, I would just Google Krav Maga schools in your area, and when people usually the next question is, well, how do I know if it's a good school? Just go and watch a class, try a class, and go with your gut. If the instructor, because the instructor could be the best Krav Maga guy ever, but he could be a piece of shit and just be a horrific fucking instructor. So go and find the instructor that works for you, whether it's Krav Maga or not. I don't give a shit. Anything you learn that will change the odds in a fight against you and some asshole, I'm all for. I don't give a shit what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously, if you're taking Tai Chi or some shit, yeah, you're gonna get your ass kicked. But, you know, if you're young, you should just be wrestling anyways, right? If you're still in school age, high school age, and you have access to a wrestling team, go and take wrestling, because there's no other better sport on the planet to put people and slam them down. We were talking about wrestling earlier, right? The WWF. Well, gravity and throwing somebody down against cement, yeah, that takes care of a situation pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Alan Powell says, what is that certain age? Because I know you mentioned if you're of a certain age, what's that age? I think somewhere in there you mentioned if you're of a certain age. What is that?
For wrestling or just for martial arts?
Yeah, I think you said
Krav Maga.
Yeah.
Oh, for Krav Maga. Yeah, that's the beautiful part. Krav Maga is literally for every single person. We train people who are like we call it adaptive Krav Maga. So if you have some kind of challenge or disability, it's supposed to be for every man, woman, and child on this earth. And you're supposed to be able to adapt it to your scenario. You know, if I sat there and I showed Dave some moves, okay, well, Dave's got a certain IQ when it comes to violence. So I just matched the Krav Maga to his understanding of violence. If, let's say, I was training your wife, and your wife's like, okay, well, I can throw a punch and I feel comfortable with violence to a small degree. I take the Krav Maga and I make it so that her ability to absorb the information and deploy that information under stress should be super easy to learn. So that's the cool part about Krav Maga. I don't need 20 years. I need, a small amount of time.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if Dave has another question here, but let me ask you this, because you were talking about wrestling. What if you're not into rolling around with other dudes, Like I always think of that when I'm looking at Joe Rogan and he's talking about fighting and they talk about different things or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not sure that I really want to spend a lot of my time, rolling around on a mat, getting all whatever.
And then I would say go find a boxing club or a Muay Thai club, right? Because people sit there and boxing, because it's a sport, it doesn't quite get the respect. If you've been on the street and some guy fucking put his hands up like this, you're going to get knocked the fuck out. Because there's going to be a fucking, you're going to be eating knuckles left, right, and center. So when you take boxing and turn it into an actual street fight, and you know how to do it, it's a bad day for you. You're swallowing teeth. So the basics are still always going to be the same. Some type of boxing, learn some firearms training, obviously within the realms before everybody shits. Go and sample a whole bunch of different things, because there's no one answer. Like Krav Maga is not the end all be all answer for everything. It's just it's a good tool in your toolbox that has adaptable things that you can put it. I call Krav Maga kind of like, what are those things, Dave, where it's like a screwdriver, but you can pull the head out and then you can replace it with another head.
Right. Yes. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. So Krav Maga is the shaft with the fucking handle. Now I take out one and I put in boxing. My boxing complements my Krav Maga, and my Krav Maga will help my boxing. Krav Maga goes with firearms training, goes with edge weapons training. If I fucking did kendo, I'm thinking I'm fucking Samurai Marcus, my Krav Maga will have some type of attribute and positive attribute to that kendo. Kendo won't necessarily help my Krav Maga.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I think
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. I feel like Krav Maga is what Bruce Lee thought about when he says like I think it's like Jeet Kune Do on steroids with
Yep.
a higher level of violence.
Hmm.
Because in
Yep.
Jeet Kune Do you take what you need and you throw the rest away. And I think Krav
Correct.
Maga is that thing. But with any, I think you should know a little bit of everything
Hmm.
because you never know if it's going to go to the ground. You don't know if you're going to have to pull your firearm out. You don't know if it's a
Yeah.
knife. You don't know. I think so. Krav Maga kind of, I like the level of violence that Krav Maga has because with any
Yes.
discipline that you use, um, you have to have a certain, be willing to go to a certain level of violence that your opponent is not willing to go to
Hmm.
and
Agreed.
overtake them. I tell
Hmm.
my sons when we go and we train and we do, our little thing, I tell them, I say, your level of violence has to supersede what most people's mentality of violence is.
Yes.
So your level of violence has to go beyond where the
Yeah.
aggressor is trying to get the hell out of your way.
Yep.
And he's looking back at you like this dude's having a good time fucking me up.
Yeah.
Like that's how your level of
Yeah.
violence has to be. You have
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
that person think twice about coming into your realm and trying to
Hmm.
attack you. And that's with
Uh,
anybody. See
yeah.
what I mean?
And that's where, and it's funny that when it comes to training women, it's getting that mentality to the forefront of their thought process. I don't give a shit what your movements are, but if you can turn your brain into, as Dave said, where you're speaking a language of violence so fluently that you're like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna have trophies for days, ears, scrotum, eyeballs, whatever. When you have that type of mentality for violence, even if they beat you, whatever that looks like to you, you're still winning because they didn't beat you on that emotional, mental level.
It cost
And
them
it's a hard
something.
thing to teach.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to teach.
Yeah, it cost them something. I think one of the problems, and I know my dad always, like, being a street fighter, my dad always says, like, he didn't believe in play fighting. If we try to play fight him, we would get hurt.
Yeah.
We
Don't
would get
fuck
like
around.
we would get like a serious tap out of trying to like play fight him. And he always said, yeah, this is like, life is not play fighting. If you're in a fight, you're in a fight to win, and it's to the death, right? It has to be a
Well,
mental. Yeah, it
I
has to be
think
that
that there's some
mentality.
truth to that.
Yeah.
And I think that when it comes to our children, especially, like, I'm not expecting another 52-year-old white guy who had a soft upbringing. I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, well, you got to do this, this, and this because we're the same. We look the same. We're the same age. You got to take into account people's backgrounds and how they grew up and how they are currently. That's where you need to start the volume button for violence. How much can they accept? How much can they give out? And grow from there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Let's I don't know if Dave has any other stuff. I'll be happy to go to it. I do want to share your social media though. Let me start with the Instagram. So I'll just throw your Instagram up here. It's Marcus Torgerson.
Yep.
Torgerson.
Yep.
For
All
anyone
one
who's
word.
interested in that. I see you put here, there is peaceful, there is wild. I am both at the same time. Soon.
Yeah.
So there you go. I see you got some cool stuff for people who are interested in that. What's your other social media that you have?
Facebook is the same. There's 2 pages there with my name. And
Mhm.
when in doubt, if they're really not sure of what the fuck's going on, just go to www.marcustorgerson.com, and that'll lead you anywhere you need to go.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm pulling up this looks like this is the Facebook here. So but this is probably your personal one.
That's a personal one, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we
But I
don't
mean, all the pages are open, right? They're all
Okay.
public pages.
Okay.
There ain't nothing private.
Okay, I'm gonna add you on that. Okay, and then I think there's a fan page. Here he goes.
Yes,
Here's
there
the
is.
here's
Yeah.
the fan page for people who are interested in that. I'm gonna like it. So I would encourage you guys to go check that out, as well as the .com. You're saying, right?
Yes, yeah.
Hey, did we lose? Where's Dave?
Where's Dave?
Yeah, I think we lost him. He might have dropped out here for a second. The end is near. Beware says, just always look out for those with cauliflower ears. Usually.
Yes. Yeah. There's something. Yeah. That's a telltale sign.
Is that uh, is that a defensive mechanism? You could get like some fake cauliflower ears and put them on and walk around like that.
There might be business in there for us. If we could get fake ones.
Yeah.
Unless somebody calls you out on it, though. They're like, "Oh yeah, you want to go?" You're like, "Oh shit, I'm just kidding. They're fake. They're fake."
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah.
He's back.
Yeah.
Where'd
When you see, there he goes.
There he is.
Hey, Dave.
Because I think it looks like it's good, but it's laggy.
Oh, okay. I think we're good on our end, but yeah, yours does look like it's lagging. I don't know. You might have some internet stuff go. What are you on Wi-Fi?
I'm on Wi-Fi, yeah.
Yeah, you might have some other people or something, jumping on the internet or something like that. But we got you. You're here.
Hey, Dave, who's Gorillas and Guns? Because there's a dude that's like, Dave!
Yeah, Gorillas and Guns is always here on the show.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Always.
Yeah, he's always here on the show. He's a good dude. He's out in Virginia. He likes eating bananas. I don't know, I guess that goes hand in hand with being Gorillas and Guns. But yeah. Let's see. Does anyone do you Marcus have any questions for Dave? Obviously, Dave's building guns. I
don't have questions, but I do have something that I haven't been able to say to him face to face. So now that he can see me, I want to say to him.
Okay.
What you're doing is super fucking important. Everything that you're about is making a positive impact on a lot of fucking lives, and I love you for doing it, and don't you ever fucking change how and why you do what you do.
Awesome.
Same to you, bro. I think you're awesome fucking from the time I met you till now. I think you're fucking awesome, dude. You help people, help somewhere you, and you're fucking selfless. And you don't ask for anything, and you give a lot. And I just think that's great, dude. And you're an awesome fucking person, bro.
There's a lot of love in here. I'm feeling the
there is.
Feeling the love in here. Yeah. I agree. I think Dave is a great guy, man. I think he's a philosopher as well as a gun builder. He's deep.
Yeah.
He's like, when you look at yourself and you grow and you get stronger, but you can accurately look at yourself, that reflection of yourself in the mirror, that's a powerful thing. How's the gun world right now? Like, from your point of view as a manufacturer, what's it looking like?
The parts are fucking getting. Well, here's the thing with me. So the parts were getting hard to get. So like the barrels were getting hard to get. So I bought a barrel company. The BCGs were getting hard to get. So I started a BCG company. So it's like the parts that were hard to get, I said, fuck it, I just buy the shit, the company. So I started a company, and I'm working with good companies on getting what I need for my stuff. So, I just keep moving like that, man. And I'm integrating with a lot bigger companies, a lot better companies, and we're actually coming out with a newer platform gun that's going to be a level up from where it was. So we're actually gonna step up the game a little bit.
Oh, okay. Can we get any hints on that, or is that all we get to hear right now?
Well, it'll be shortly. You'll see it shortly. I don't want to give it away too much.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna be pretty much like when you purchase when you build guns, you use other people's handguards, other people's this and that, and you pretty much put your name on it as branding. Well, from here on out, everything is mine. Everything is my own design handguard, my own upper, my own lower, my own bolt carrier, barrels, the whole nine, except for like the furniture, which is the stocks and grips. But I'm working with a great company that's actually giving us a good deal on the stocks and stuff, and they're letting me design my own stocks. So it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be badass, dude. We're stepping it up a level. We're getting up there, man.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I mean, that's a tough undertaking, right? There's a reason why so many people don't do that stuff. So that's a like a lot of work that you're probably putting in to make that happen.
It's a lot of it is, and it's a lot of like you investing time and investing everything you got, man, and it really gets stressful. Like people think, you own a business and automatically you got money and stuff and this and that and other, but honestly, you own a business, you're fucking broke.
Mm-hmm.
You're because everything you have is going back into business and it's
Mm-hmm.
constantly, excuse me, rolling over and rolling over to go back into business. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of time invested in this. I have a lot of work invested in this, and hopefully it pays out in the end.
Yeah. Absolutely. Someone wants to know if that's a 30 cal in your hat. I think that's Gorillas and Guns, actually.
It's
Uh,
5.56.
oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see. Let me get a close up. Oh, there you go. Boom. Right.
Sexy, ain't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, what is, I don't know if Marcus has any questions here. My thing I'm thinking is like, what's the toughest thing that because it's really tough right now for a lot of the industry. I think getting materials and all that kind of stuff, getting stuff out the door. I think the easy part is people buying stuff, which is good. What's your toughest thing from your point of view that you're dealing with in this particular environment right now?
Um, it's the wait time on parts. There's some companies who aren't getting firearms till next year.
Mm,
There's some companies who are 6 to 8 months behind on barrels. Companies who are 6 to 8 months behind on, receivers. I mean, it's the waiting on the parts because you don't have the materials to make them,
mm-hmm,
and it's the because you're waiting and you're not selling because you don't have enough adequate stuff to sell, it causes you to have to live your life at a different level, which is good, but it's stressful
mm-hmm,
because when you're used to living a certain way and then all of a sudden you got to cut certain shit out, it,
mm-hmm.
it makes it a little stressful. So it's going okay though, and I want to let everybody know here in a couple weeks I'll have my I would get one of my barrels, but I don't know if you can show them on here, but I have my barrels laid completely out. And if you're a manufacturer or if you're just into
Yeah.
building guns, you'll be able to check me
Oh,
out.
you can show
And
barrels. I think they're good as long as we don't show complete guns. We can show barrels and
uh,
stuff like that. If you
I,
can get it. I don't want to. You don't have to get it. I'm
I'll wait.
happy. I'm happy just to see your beautiful face. Uh,
I know.
So.
I'm happy to see you guys too, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just started a new company.
Okay.
So
What is?
I actually have down the barrel. I
Mm-hmm.
have my barrel company. I don't want to say the name just yet because we're working on the branding and stuff for it.
Mm-hmm.
Not the branding. I'm sorry. We're working on the
Trademarks.
trademarks for the logos
Mm-hmm.
for the logo right now. So I have my barrel company, and I also have. Look at
Oh,
my
let's
shirt,
see.
Mark.
Uh-oh.
Can you see this?
Oh
Uh,
shit! Look at that. Damn,
Oh,
that's sexy right there. What's it say on the bottom
Jack
there?
Skull. Is that what does that say? Is that
it's
Black
it's
Skull?
called. Hold on. Let me see if I can get. Let me see if I can get. If I can
Kicks.
get
Is
it
it
back
Kick
far enough
Skull?
where you
Yeah.
kick the skull.
Oh, Kick. Okay. Yeah.
Kick the skull. This is going to be our new
Nice.
fighting brand.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So we just got all of the paperwork done for that for Kick the Skull. So this is going to be our new branded fighting gear, hoodies, shirts, all the stuff like that. So this, and you can check out kicktheskull.com and you can order fighting stuff from there.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Okay. Very cool.
Nice.
Um, let's see here. Oh, there's a question for Chris Schumach, or Shumaki. I'm not sure exactly how I say that. He says this is to Marcus. He says, "Do you have anything going on in Louisiana?"
No. However, if you have a room, an open room with people in it, I'll happily show up. Love Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there you go. So if people want to get you to come out and do something out there, what do they contact you through?
Um, just go to the website and hit the
Mm-hmm.
email address and just be very specific about dates and times. And if I can make it happen, I will.
All right, cool. And then I think this one is for Dave. All Thumb says, "Does Dave have any YouTube videos featuring his guns?"
No, the only guns that I have on YouTube are the ones that Black Rambo uses and shoots
Hmm.
on his YouTube. I'm not too much into the getting on the YouTube shit, and I
Hmm.
don't really want my face out there as much as people might think. So I don't have
Hmm.
anything like that.
So if
My
we,
sons are trying to get into the YouTube thing and shooting our guns, but
hmm
it's just not me.
so if we look up Black Rambo, we would have to look up Black Rambo to see your like his
Right.
YouTube channel,
The
right?
one that we made for him is the Black Rambo Pressure.
Okay.
That's one of our guns. So
Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna see if I could Google Black Rambo pressure, and then I'll be able to. Okay, here it goes. So I'm not gonna show too much of it because I don't want to get like a copyright strike or anything like that. But there you go. That's Black Rambo rocking it. I'm just gonna show that for a couple of seconds, and I'm gonna come out here. Believe it or not, YouTube will come in after you if you do too much of that
Show other
stuff.
people's stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but go check out Black Rambo on YouTube and look up the pressure, and that will come up there. So and then you're always invited. You could bring an arsenal down here to Florida, man. And we could show off some stuff. We can do that sometime. We can invite Marcus to come out and shoot some
I'm
guns. I know you're
I'm
into
there.
guns. Yeah,
Yeah, hell yeah.
yeah.
Bring it.
Do you have any down the barrel rifles yet?
Do I?
Yes.
No, I do not as of yet. I'm
Yeah.
gonna wait until he has everything all completed, like everything is all out of his house,
Mhm.
because the only rifle I want is everything is from his hands.
Okay. There you go.
it's coming up close, man. It's coming close. I want to give a shout out to my homeboy, man. Reflective Imaging. He's the guy that does my logos and stuff.
Okay.
So you can check him out on Instagram, Reflective Imaging, if you need logos, branding, shirts, hoodies. He
Okay.
does all my. I
Yeah,
just
and
want to shout him out.
oh, okay, absolutely. I was gonna go check out your so reflective imaging. Hold on, let me see if I could find that.
That's the
And,
guy that does all of my logos. He does all my shirts. He can take your Instagram and make it photo albums, the whole nine, man. He does all that stuff.
okay.
So
Here I'll follow him. I'll show him here. So here's the Instagram channel right here. So this guy's doing all of your branding stuff.
he does all my branding, he does my logos. He did that's my drink right there.
Oh,
So he
this
did all my logos. Yeah, that's mine. That's my energy
MVE.
drink.
Oh, what?
Move.
Nice. Move. Oh, that's what it
Yeah.
is. Okay, move. Okay,
It stands
nice.
for motherfucking vascular energy.
Oh.
Oh, you had me at motherfucking.
Yeah.
Yes. These guys are good at expletives, which is awesome. Yeah, so I see
Actually, somebody said they need to wipe their ears out with soap after
Oh.
this. So
Hey, this is for
I
adults.
guess you
Yeah,
better
he's
put a.
no. All of the show is always like that. People can. Oh, so does he? It looks like he does some Black Rambo stuff also.
Yeah, he did the Black Rambo shirts that we were doing.
Yeah, I can see the Black Rambo's logo right here. So okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so he does all my like I called him and I said, "Hey, I got a new business called Kick the Skull and I want you to do me a logo." He says, "What do you want?" I said, "I just want a skull with Kick the Skull somewhere on it." He came out with our logo and we're going to post it on our website on my Down the Barrel stuff.
Hmm.
And you like I said, you can go to kicktheskull.com and you can buy like anything you need for self-defense is on there. So you
Yes.
can check that out too.
So your Instagram is Down the Barrel Official, right? I'm
Mine
showing
is
that.
down.the.barrel and Down the Barrel Official is the business one.
Oh, this is the business one. Okay. Yeah. So if you guys want to see some of the guns and stuff like that, you can also check them out on Instagram. I think this is the pressure right here
Hmm.
that I'm showing right now. This looks like some magazines right there that have Black Rambo on it. There you go. Some very cool parts right there. Awesome. So lots of cool
So
guns there if anyone's looking to find those things. Go ahead.
yes, we're in the process of building up. I'm actually doing like 80% aluminum lower, 70, 75 T6 aluminum lower.
Mm-hmm.
80%ers. We're starting to get those for resale. I'm reaching out to local manufacturers and smaller businesses who have the bigger businesses have come in and kind of tried to wipe them.
Mm-hmm.
And the smaller businesses, I'm just kind of trying to cradle them in, man. And they're just like, we're gonna just blow up with this. So that's what we're doing. So we got 80%ers. I'm coming out with a whole new rifle lineup, the whole setup, man. So we're
Yeah.
building. We're stepping up high.
Oh, okay. I'm looking right now at this laced up gun you have on, or someone has on there.
Yeah, that's one a guy wanted. He wanted a specialized gun for himself,
Yeah.
and he gave me all of the stuff that he wanted to do, and I did it for him. So
Whose
we hooked him
gator
up.
chair is that right there?
That's his.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah,
But
very
that was his
nice.
own build. He he
Okay.
he called me and he says, "Hey, I want a gun that says laced up." I'm like, "For what?" And he's like, "Cause my name is Lacey." I'm like, "Okay, you tell me what you want and I'll
Yeah.
fucking do it." And that's what
Yeah.
happens, bro.
Oh, cool. Cause like I stayed laced up, son. You know.
Yeah, that type of yeah.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude too, man.
Yeah.
He's a real cool guy.
Nice. Yeah, that looks good. You know, I like how that looks. What kind of so like do you collect guns or do you just have what you need for practicality's sake, Marcus? What is your I'll probably ask Dave the same question, but you know, Marcus, what's your gun collection look like?
Right now, it's just little G19 and
Hmm.
an AK.
Okay, that's good.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty much, if it's idiot proof, then I'm all for it. I'm a pretty simple dude, man. I don't like complications.
Okay, so you would choose AK over AR. Let's have that conversation.
I know I will pick up anything that's in front of me to use
Hmm.
when I need it. That's my I take a Krav Maga approach to everything.
Hmm.
Meaning, if there's a cylinder 6 shooter, I want to be able to use it. I want to be able to use whatever I get my hands on in a bad situation.
Hmm.
So I'm not married to one firearm or one. I don't have love for one gun only, because to me they're a tool that I need to use in a very horrific situation. So
Hmm.
I need to be able to be comfortable with all platforms possible.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get deeper in this question. So someone's shooting at you, and
Uh-huh.
equal distance away is an AK and an AR. Which one are you grabbing?
Oh boy. Yeah.
I'm probably gonna grab an AK only because I'm familiar with the platform a lot easier.
Okay.
Okay,
Right? So
that makes
it's
sense.
just something that I know. But if you all of a sudden I've got, a down the barrel AR and I've been playing with that for 6 months and it's available, then I'm gonna obviously be good with that because it's a platform that I'm comfortable with under stress. That's all I care about. Which one can I use when shit's flying and I'm pissing my pants and I have to depress the trigger?
Yeah, I think that's the truth. That's the truth right there. How do you view AKs versus AR, Dave? Just out of
I think
curiosity.
it's kind of like what he said. I'm more familiar with the AR, so I think that it is either one of them is lethal in the right hands.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm more familiar with the AR, and I won't even pick up an AK because if that thing, I wouldn't know what to fucking do with it.
Oh wow.
Like just pull
Okay.
it and shoot it till it's empty. I know how to reload it and all that
Right.
stuff, but like with an AR, if it jams or anything like that, I
Hmm.
know the technique to work on
Hmm.
because I'm more familiar with it. So I
Hmm.
would grab the AR
Yeah.
over the AK.
And I think ultimately that's what people should do. It's what you feel more comfortable with, what you have access to, what you're familiar with. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. AK is a pretty capable gun. All around the world. I think if someone asks me that same question, it really depends on the situation that we're going into, right? Like if both of those guns are equal in their abilities, for me, I know I'm familiar with both of those platforms. It's really what am I about to go into? What am I going after, and all that kind of stuff. I think naturally I would tend to choose AR over AK, but I think AK is a pretty capable gun, and you can find a lot of AK around. So if it was maybe the apocalypse, You know, I would I would probably go more AK. But I think, you know, nowadays ARs are so easy to use, in my personal opinion, right? They're so easy to use, so interchangeable. If you had to really service stuff on an AK and you couldn't find those parts, I just think like in America, for example, you find parts more easily. You'd be able to take that thing apart, get in there, and figure out what's going on. An AR is more like Legos, and AK less so, you know.
It's well, I don't know about that. Like, I think they're both equally not like. I don't think the AR is a harder platform. I guess because I'm familiar with it.
Mhm.
But now here's the other thing too. It depends on where I'm at too. Is which one I'm gonna grab. If I'm in America
Mhm.
and apocalypse hits and I'll
Mhm.
go into a house, I'm gonna grab an AR because you see more Americans seem like have ARs than AKs. But you're in Africa, I'm grabbing an AK
Yeah. Yeah.
because everybody over there's got AKs. So it's
I,
more of what you can get.
okay, I agree with you, but I think ARs. This is just my thing. Like, if I had to choose one, I would choose an AR. I'm just telling you that. But I have AKs as well. I'm into AKs. I don't want anyone to think that I'm not into AKs or I'm disrespecting the AK. But I would say that ARs became as popular as they are in America more recently. I'm not saying in the last couple of years, and I'm not saying there's not a lot of ARs in America, but a lot of people out there are familiar with AKs, including in America, and there's a lot of AKs in America. There's a lot of people, when I talk to them and ask them AR, AK, there's a lot of AK people. I was talking to someone the other day who doesn't even do what we do. He's just, you know, he happens to be a gun guy. And he was like, yeah, man, I run an AK because the ammo, all that kind of stuff is cheaper and more available. And this guy lives in the middle of America. So,
Well,
Well, and
AR too. I
I'll
mean,
be honest with you.
AK.
go ahead.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I'm just say this: the AK will run any ammo too, steel, brass,
Mhm.
fucking rocks. You know what I mean? AK will
Mhm.
run any ammo, whereas an AR, certain ARs you put steel in, it's not gonna run them. You know,
A good AR should be able to run steel case though.
that's what I'm saying. How many
Yeah.
good ARs are out there though? Everybody's into the
Uh,
499, 599 shit
True,
ARs.
truth. That is true. There are people into cheaper ARs. And my kind of AR that I like is probably closer to an AK, right? I like piston driven ARs. You know, but I have direct impingement ARs and stuff like that. But I think piston driven tend to be a little bit tougher. But I think even a $600 AR should be able to run steel case. I would have an issue with a $600 AR that cannot run steel case. All right.
You'd be surprised, man, because I mean, a $600 AR has probably got a $45 barrel in it. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, take that for whatever
Yeah.
it's worth
Yeah, the barrel
compared
may
to
not last that long. But
and
how
then you
long?
got a $300 barrel that'll eat anything.
Yeah.
So
The question is, how long is it? Like, what I've found in my experience, most people buy guns. I'm not talking about us, but most people buy guns. And, like, so I ask gun stores this all the time with used guns. I say, what is the average amount of rounds that went through that gun from the time someone buys it and then they bring it back to you and they sell it back to you, do something else?
500.
Nope, slower than that. What do you think,
Wow.
Dave?
for an AR,
Yeah.
um, just depends. I don't know. It depends. If it's a cheap AR, it's probably close to the 1,000 to 2,000 range. They're not gonna fucking tell you that, but
No,
I
I
mean,
honestly, the answer is closer to 20 or 50 rounds. And I'm just
no
saying,
fucking.
this is the average. The thing is, not a lot of, like, the kind of gun guys like us that are actually training and all that kind of stuff is not the average buyer out there. I would be interested in seeing what the folks think in the chat about that, and but this is really what I've seen. A lot of people buy an AR. Typically, like, all the AR sales going on now are people buying it because they're like, oh my god, they're gonna get rid of these things, and I need to defend myself. They're getting rid of cops. I need an AR. They go buy an AR. They maybe go to the range once, put a couple of rounds through it, and done. They're not really doing it anymore. I'm gonna let you jump in here, Marcus. Let me get this super chat up here from John Crump.
Money, 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 money.
Money.
That is Gorillas and Guns singing "Money, Money, Money" right there. He says, "My spirit animal is on the show." That's from John Crump. So he's talking about you, Dave. You're his spirit animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get back on his show too.
Yeah. So let's see. So I know, Marcus, you wanted to jump in here. Go ahead.
Well, and so I'm with two guys who are gun guys. I'm not a gun guy. I'm not, because I'm not. When you start having discussions about this caliber is better than this caliber, or this gun is better than this gun, well, they're both useless if you can't use them when the time comes. So if you're not training with it, I don't give a shit if it's the best firearm on the planet. It has a function, and if you can't utilize it to the maximum ability of that tool because you haven't invested the time and money to train with it, then it just doesn't matter to me. And so it falls on deaf ears when I get into conversations, not here but in general, about 45, 9mm, blah 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 blah. Fuck, man, listen, does it go through the body? Does it stop the person that's in front of me? Do I have enough ammunition and I know what to do with it? Like, unless you can answer those questions honestly and say, I'm good with depressing this trigger when bad things are happening. Unless you can say that, who gives a shit whether it's a fucking AR, AK, fucking shotgun?
Amen.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's you know, the rounds are going to do pretty much the same thing to you. Look, here's Range Brothers TV. I think it may shock some people what I'm saying, but I'm telling you, this is my experience, and I talk to gun shop owners all the time, pawn shop owners, all of that. Range Brothers TV says I work in a gun shop. Most guns is 60 to 100 rounds, if that. You know.
Well, see, I thought you were talking about.
Go ahead.
You were talking about guys that actually shot their gun and then brought it back because they wanted to upgrade. You know, but you're talking like people that buy a gun and then find out later, oh, they don't.
Well, I was talking about the average, and the thing that I'm making is just like, so for example, Krav Maga, any martial arts out there, or lots of things. How many people actually get into it and do it and practice it? You know, this is really the question, and I think this is the thing about firearms. And in the firearms world, there are people. It's just like any other world, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it just speaks to your level of preparedness. There's people who just collect the guns. They just buy the guns to buy the guns. They don't even go to a range. They don't even shoot it, right? They just have it to have it.
I feel you. I have a couple that I just collected. I got some like revolvers from 1930 and shit like that. Yeah, but
But your ARs, you're shooting your ARs or your Glocks. Yeah. You're training. You're going out and doing
I don't have a fucking, other than a revolver or some shit that I'm gonna, to hang on the wall. I don't have a gun that's under 250 rounds through it. I mean, even my shotguns. I mean, fuck, we went out and we took our shotguns out because I wanted to show my boys that a shotgun could be a good defensive weapon because they were all ARs and Glocks. So we went out and we took out 500. We went to Walmart and kicked out like 10 boxes of shells when they were like $19. You get 5 boxes in a big box, and we went out and shot all that shit. We shot 200 or 300 rounds through shotguns. So and at the end of the day, they were like, I like shotguns now. So just to show them the different ways you can reload and things like that. So
if you talk to,
I think everybody should have a shotgun too.
Amen. Yep.
Yes, thank you, Dave Biden. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. You sound like Biden. Well, just get the shotgun. But no, I'm teasing you. I'm gonna
tell you why. I think everybody should have a shotgun. I think you should have a shotgun and a loader. You should have a loader. Loaders are cheap. You can get them for shotguns pretty cheap. And the reason being is you can put any fucking thing in a shotgun shell and shoot it. You can put rocks. You can put pebbles. You can put anything.
It's an apocalyptic. It's an apocalyptic gun if that's what it gets down to. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And it never fails you.
No, I mean, you're doing most of the function, right? On your barrel fed shotgun. Now, magazine fed shotguns, I think that's a little bit different story for me. And I like magazine fed shotguns, but there's a lot of different issues you run into when it's magazine fed versus tube fed, right? I mean, shotguns have been around for a long time.
My pay grade.
Huh?
You're above my pay grade. Talking about magazine-fed shotguns. whole different. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to step away from this conversation. I don't know anything about that.
Well, there's some AK pattern like a Sega 12, right? It's
Yeah,
an AK pattern. Basically, an AK shoots 12 gauge, but it's magazine fed. And so when you're feeding off the magazine and stripping that out, you can run into issues like where's the brass? So is it high brass, low brass, that kind of stuff for grabbing it and loading it in there versus in a tube. If it gets in the tube, and it moves in that tube, you're pretty good. And that's why I think like your traditional shotgun is a pretty awesome, flexible firearm, right? If we're really in the apocalypse, you could chop that thing down.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Do a lot of stuff with it.
A good 870 or something like that. I have, the little pistol style 870 shotguns. Fucking perfect, man. I love those. And everybody should have that, and they should have a down the barrel AR. I think.
Right. Of course.
I agree about that last part.
Yeah. Of course, but I think one of the things that's going on, like the gun world, right? Gun world wise, like right now, everyone's buying everything. Everything's pretty much selling, including like some really nice guns. There are companies that make high end guns, and if you check on their website, they're like all sold out. And oh, what's going on? And I think it's because of the demand of everyone right now is getting guns in America, right? This is why sales have gone through the roof. One of the good things moving forward that maybe will happen is if the pendulum swings back the other way and we don't have crazy people in the White House trying to go after guns, you will find a lot of reasonably priced guns out there that are very lightly used, if used at all.
Yeah,
at really good prices.
Yep, very true. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I hope we see that.
Buy low and sell high, or whatever that shit is.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know if we're going to see that. I would ask you guys, what do you guys think, like with all the, I don't know how much you track what's going on with the gun control stuff. Marcus, what does this look like to you?
Everything, look at history. I'm a big fan of following history. We are predictable in our nature. So at some point in time, I don't know when, but at some point in time, it will tip in the opposite direction that it is now. So, nothing. This is a saying that I live by. Nothing good lasts forever. My good times don't last forever, and neither do my bad times. So at some point in time, it's gonna fucking swap up the other direction.
Okay. All right. What do you think about that, Dave? You have that same feeling? I don't think we've had a chance to talk. I think the last time we talked was before we went into elections and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you thinking now? And as a manufacturer, what do you like? Give me your crystal ball prediction here.
As far as the laws on guns and how they're trying to steal your guns and kill your Second Amendment and take over your lives and make you prisoners.
Yeah, exactly. Do you see this lasting for a long time? Is this permanent, lasting for a long time, or it's short-lived until maybe we change some things in politics? What do you think?
Well, I think it's lasting for at least the next 3 years. I mean, until we get that fucker out of there. But hopefully it doesn't tip to the point to where the president that we have now actually gets to where he starts banning guns, and then when the next president come in, it might be a Republican or maybe a Democrat that wants guns, and it'll be harder to pull us out of that hole again. Once the stuff getting, because once you pass a law, it's hard to get it unpassed, if that makes sense.
It does.
So I don't see us. I see us at least for the next year. We're gonna have an ammo shortage. We're gonna have a gun shortage. I mean, we're gonna have all that at least for the next year minimum. But I think we have too many people fighting for our Second Amendment for him to just ban them and things of that nature. I mean, statewide. Like our state, our governor just did a thing where we're a Second Amendment state or whatever, which is why I love my state. So if it does pass federally, then you're going to have federal and state laws butting heads, kind of like with marijuana in California and different places like that. But I don't think it's going to get to the point to where he's not going to have enough people to back him to take away the stuff that we have, the rights that we have. You
I would
know,
hope not. I would hope not. Like how we're talking about people getting guns and using them, Americans who have the rights and the ability to vote. I wonder how many of them are really practicing that. I think the numbers are still low. People aren't paying attention. I hope that maybe what happens in the next few years makes people wake up and pay attention to what's happening. You know,
yeah. When
not.
I say he doesn't have enough people, what I'm
Mhm,
saying is, let's say he banned ARs in the White House,
mhm,
right? You name
mhm.
me one police officer that you know that's going to come in your house and try to take your God-given Second Amendment right.
Based on where I
And that's
live, I
where the
don't know.
confusion.
Yeah, yeah. Based on where I live, I don't know people. I'm sure that there are some that might do that out there. But I know. See, I think that is the thing. Like, I know a lot of people. I'm not gonna say all of Florida. Florida is kind of getting purple, and there's parts of Florida that are really liberal and willing to give up their rights. But I think like where I live and the people around me are not going for that. You know.
Right.
And,
And
mhm,
so that's what I mean on the state level is going to be,
mhm,
if he bans ARs, I don't think our police department, I know our police department won't come and try to take anything.
mhm,
And and the states are already going Second Amendment,
mhm.
you're going to see, you got California and New York and fucked up places like that. But,
Yeah.
when it comes down to um, certain states, man, you're not going to see that stuff happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to, who's going to come in and take your gun, man? Because
It's
all of my
gonna be a
police
lot of
officers own guns.
yeah. There's gonna be a lot of non-compliance with that,
Right.
right? The question is the majority of the other Americans out there, are they going to wake up and realize how dangerous this is that these people are suggesting? That's really the question. I think it goes back to what we were talking about. Like, people are so comfortable. How many people out there are really willing to be uncomfortable to fight for their rights? I'm not hoping that we get into like a civil war in America or anything like that, but at some point, states in America resisting what's happening, like Florida. I saw the governor of Florida talking about this today. Florida didn't shut down. Florida kept going, but when they're giving out the government money, they're taking it from Florida and already and giving it to other states.
Mm-hmm.
How long does that go before the states go, nope, we're not even dealing with this anymore? And there's gonna be a little bit of suffering out of that some people might not want to do, but we have to be willing to be uncomfortable to some level to make these people realize, yeah, you're not going to be able to do this to us, right?
Right.
And I
And
think
I
that's what
don't
it
think
comes
we're
down
going to
to.
have a civil war.
Hmm.
No, no, no.
No, we're not going to have a civil war.
Hmm.
I'm going to tell you why we won't have a civil war. Because if we did have a civil war, it would be over what? The banning of firearms.
Hmm.
So if you're either going to be on the left or you're going to
Hmm.
be on the right. And if
Hmm.
you approve the banning of firearms, then
Hmm.
that means you don't have no fucking firearms. So who's going to
Mm-hmm.
win that?
Yeah,
Yeah, true.
yeah,
I mean, really
yeah.
think about that. What
At
are
a
you going to do?
base
Run up with
level.
sticks
Hmm.
and rocks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be a civil war. There's a lot of people that will go to the level of violence that's needed to keep your rights intact, or go there. I mean, there's a lot of people that would, this country might separate,
Hmm.
but it won't be a civil war like
Hmm.
people are thinking about it, like an apocalyptic event. It won't.
Yeah.
It'll never be that.
I would agree with you for two reasons. I would agree with you because I think most people in America are too comfortable to fight for anything. They'll just take whatever they're
Oh,
given,
yeah,
But
yeah.
I also agree with you because there are still in America left enough men and women that aren't willing to give up their freedom and willing to fight for it on whatever level that is, whatever it escalates to. And ultimately, that's what matters. I think the rest of the people in society that just are willing to go along with the get along or whatever it is, those people don't really matter to me, right? They're gonna take whatever. This is the problem. But I think I agree with you that there are enough people that are gonna go, no, that's not freedom. That's slavery. To me, it's slavery. They can try to word that however they want to, but when they try to make me dependent on them and take away my claws, right, from me, that's telling me that they wanna enslave me to them. And that's a lot of what we have going on now. That's what's been happening for the last year. So, and what's been happening in America for the last year, there's not enough people in America saying no yet. Like, no, we're done with this. We're not, I think these guys are going to try to push this to 2 years. But, and as someone here said it, I'll let Marcus, I think Chris Schumach says, the average person that only puts 50 rounds through his rifle probably isn't going to fight to keep their rights as much as we do.
No.
Yeah.
They don't
Go
have
ahead.
skin in the game. Like, at the end of the day, this is what it's going to come down to, is who has skin in the game. How badly is this of an importance to you? When you have people who are so dependent on, and I'm going to go to Amazon again, and it's a bad example because I use Amazon, so does everybody. But when people will take away something, it isn't until they take away something that deeply impacts everybody, then you'll see an uprising. But we won't have an uprising until then, because there's only a small percentage, whatever that is, of people who are going to stand up for that Second Amendment or any of the amendments. Okay, you're look, as a foreigner, you have one of the best countries in the world here. Okay, thank you. Okay, you have one of the best countries in the world, but you take it for granted. The people that have not traveled out of the country have no fucking clue what they're fucking up by allowing things like this to happen. Okay, go to Colombia, go to Venezuela, go to any third world country.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I agree with you, brother. And I think there's a lot of people like us. The question is, like, how long does it take before they really back us all into the corner where we decide to come out fighting like that? I think we're gonna, like, because of who we are, we don't go from 0 to 100 immediately, right? We start making sure, like, okay, where I'm at, make sure I'm okay here, building out my community, that kind of a thing. But when it comes down to it, there's more of us than them. If we really all get backed into that corner and people realize, like, hey, it's now the time to to really fight, to really do this. So hopefully it doesn't get that far and people in America realize exactly what's been happening to them. I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle of all of it because we've been doing this for a year and Americans aren't mad yet.
No.
And
people, that's
what
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. You've got enough people. I think Dave made a good point that you've got people who are willing to be loud enough to take care of things as usual for the masses. Right?
Yeah.
You got X amount of people who will sit there and do the job that everybody should be doing. That's just the way that's as a society, that's how we are and have been for quite some time.
That's how human beings are. Okay, I think we lost Dave again. Hopefully we'll get him back here, but we should start wrapping this up anyway, because I think we've been going for. It's been a great conversation, man. I've enjoyed meeting you. You know,
I'm glad. I had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully you'll come back again. Same thing goes for Dave. Hopefully we'll get him to come back here in the conversation. I want to encourage all you guys out there to smash the thumbs ups, while you're still in here. Marcus, if you could tell the folks out there, where can they find you? How can they communicate with you? Find out, maybe how to get some training from you. What should they do?
At all platforms, I'm a little more on Instagram than I am, say, anywhere else. But Instagram, Facebook. If you have questions about training, let me know. My website, www.marcustorgerson.com, usually has everything with upcoming workshops I'm doing or products I'm hawking and blah blah blah.
All right, awesome. You know what? I don't see Dave coming back in here yet. I would encourage all you guys to follow Down the Barrel LLC. Dave's got lots of good stuff going on, and as he was talking about, he's got some even better stuff coming out here on the way. If he's not, he might be having some internet trouble. So, here he goes. Hold on, he's getting him back in. Just in time, Dave. Where are you? There you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm back.
There we go.
Yeah, just in
There we
time.
go.
Tell the folks out there how they can support you, man. If they want to communicate with you, ask you stuff, keep up with you till they see the new stuff coming out. Where do they go?
Down the Barrel official .com is my website. Down the Barrel Official is my Instagram. My new website, kicktheskull.com. Please check out kicktheskull.com. If you're into self-defense and you want to order stuff so you can train and train your family, kicktheskull.com. And then on Down the Barrel Official, my phone number and everything's on there. You can call me. So.
All right, awesome. So here's what I'm going to do. Both of you guys stay right there. I'm going to run in the end of the show, and then I'm going to come back here and get some words of wisdom. Which one of you guys wants to drop some words of wisdom on us?
Let
Marcus.
Dave do it, man. Dave's got.
No, Marcus, do it.
No, Dave said you, Marcus. I vote with Dave. So it's going to be all about you, Marcus. I'll give you a little bit of time. Big thanks to Harry's Holsters for sponsoring the show. We really appreciate them. Also, I would recommend all you folks out there, go check out U.S. Law Shield. This is the Florida gun law book, but they've got these kinds of books for lots of different states. We do have a link in the description that you guys can save some money, and then you can also help us out. We get a couple of bucks out of that, so go check them out. Stay right there, guys. We're going to come back here in a second, and Marcus is going to drop Krav Maga words of wisdom on us. Here's the end. All right, thanks to everyone for watching. I hope you guys hit those thumbs ups, ring the bell, stay subscribed here to the show. Thanks so much. We're going to rip the audio out of this and throw it up on iTunes and all the other places that you get your audio podcasts from. Everyone loved the show. Lots of kudos on that. Hit us with the words of wisdom, Marcus.
Well, I would say this. For everybody that's listening or watching this, if you truly want to sit there and change the odds when violence knocks on your door, get up off your ass and do some training on any type of system that you're used to doing. If you're a firearms person, dry drilling and mag changing and going to the range when you can. If you're a blade guy, whatever it is that's your tactics, work on it under adverse conditions. Work under it so that you feel confident when violence decides to enter your life, because it will come and visit you at some point in time.
Amen. Amen. I totally agree with that. Big thanks to Dave from Down the Barrel for coming on and also suggesting that we get Marcus on here. Marcus, thanks so much for coming on, man. I really do appreciate you being on the show here. Thanks to everyone out there. We will be back tomorrow. We'll see you guys. We're out right now. Peace.